Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
Guyana's president to consult with the country's elections body and opposition leader on holding the polls. Our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Wednesday, February 27th. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Dawn Paris. Good evening. President David Granger has written to the head of the Guyana Elections Commission, GECOM, urging him to initiate arrangements for conducting general and regional elections and committing to support the request for financing the polls. He also plans to meet with opposition leader Barrett Jagdeo. In a letter to President Granger, GECOM chairman retired Justice James Patterson had indicated that the elections body could not deliver credible polls within 3 months' time and that it would require an appropriation of funds from the National Assembly. And according to Minister of State Joseph Harmon, based on the contents of that correspondence, President Granger has responded, saying he wants to talk with GECOM about its election readiness.
The President, having received that letter, responded to the Chairman of the Elections Commission, indicating to the Commission that he noted the concerns which were raised in their letter and that he has asked that the Commission stands ready to commence a consultation with him on the operational readiness of the Elections Commission to deliver credible elections. He noted, of course, their concern that there was not any appropriation made in the 2019 budget for anything other than house registration. And that the
People's Progressive Party is demanding that elections be held by March 19th in keeping with the 90-day deadline set out by the Constitution after government lost a no-confidence vote in the National Assembly on December 21st last year. President Granger, who left the country on Tuesday for Cuba to continue medical treatment for cancer, is requesting a meeting with Jagdeo next Wednesday to discuss the issue.
Now, based on that letter which the Elections Commission sent to him, the President felt it was necessary to consult with the Leader of the Opposition, and so he, in fact, instructed me to write the Leader of the Opposition, which I did today, and I pointed out that the President was inviting the Leader of the Opposition to a consultation on the 6th of March at 1100 hours at the Ministry of the Presidency. And the President indicated that he wanted to discuss two issues. One, the National Assembly's constitutional role in the present situation. And two, the Guyana Elections Commission's readiness and requirements for funding to enable it to conduct general and regional elections.
Staying in Guyana, far from reinstating 61 workers fired earlier this month for going on strike as government was expecting, Russian-owned bauxite company Rusal has now laid off 30 more employees without pay, and the company is being blasted for it. Saying that Rusal is being unreasonable, Social Protection Minister Amna Ali has promised that government will be going all out to get satisfaction for the workers. Earlier this week, after a meeting with government officials and Rusal representatives, Natural Resources Minister Raphael Trotman said he was hopeful the workers would be back on the job by Wednesday. But at a second meeting on Tuesday, it was revealed that won't be happening, as we hear in this Newsroom Guyana report.
The Rusal representatives officially informed the government that it will not reinstate the 61 employees they fired on February 15th because those workers breached their contracts with the company.
The fact is, all 61 workers who took place in this mass disruption of labor regulations,
I would say violation of labor contracts and our regulations.
Were fired or were terminated.
The employees had commenced strike action in protest of a unilateral 1% increase in their salaries. Rusal had to cease its operations after the employees refused to work. At the meeting Tuesday, it was revealed that Rusal will now start hiring new persons on Friday. It was further revealed by the Rusal representatives that the employees who were terminated have allegedly threatened other employees on the mines and have asked the government for protection of these workers.
As a gesture of goodwill and attempt to normalize the work of BCGI, company administration is inviting another shift to work from Thursday, or Friday.
They will come Thursday to
Means
start.
to invite them to come to mine site and to start their works
Starting from Friday.
From Friday.
Minister of Social Protection Amna Ali said it is very clear that the company does not want a friendly solution to this matter.
That I believe that Rusal management is unreasonable, it is unthinkable for the positions that you have taken on this issue.
Minister Ali said the company is punishing the workers rather than looking to settle the dispute. She said that the government will not allow the workers to be treated in such manner.
This is unacceptable. It is not right for workers to be punished in this respect. And I must say to you that we are going to be going to the lengths, the government of Guyana will be going to the lengths to examine this issue with regards to operations, with regards to workers at this company.
In other news, CARICOM leaders are adopting a more cautious approach towards establishing a regional ferry service, an idea that has been bandied about for more than a decade. The leaders on Friday ended their two-day intercessional summit in St. Kitts, where they discussed recommendations from a special meeting of the CARICOM Council for Trade and Economic Development Quartet on Transportation, held earlier this month in St. Vincent. The meeting in Kingstown dealt with, among other things, the Multilateral Air Services Agreement, proposals for a regional ferry service, and easier security check-in for in-transit passengers. CARICOM Secretary General Ambassador Erwin LaRock told reporters he's not too optimistic the regional ferry service will become a reality soon.
That discussion right now is probably a little bit preliminary. We've had studies in the past, and we're dusting them off to look at them again to see if the figures, we've actually done some pre-feasibility work on that before, to see if now is the right time and what it takes. The cost has to be right. I mean, the cost has to be right. You don't want to put something in place and then it's so prohibitive that no one is going to use it. So it's a matter that you revisit every once in a while to see if the time is right. Sometimes something is right now and it's not right at the next time. So it's a process.
Antigua and Barbuda's Prime Minister Gaston Brown, while supportive of a regional ferry service, says it must not be an expensive venture.
Always supportive of regional transportation. You can't have an effective single market without being able to move goods and people effectively. I'm also of the view too that transportation is so costly that no single country can do it on its own, that there needs to be full regional cooperation. There should be shared benefit and shared burden.
When do you think it will happen?
Again, work in progress. It will take some time. It's an aspiration, and I'm quite sure that provided we continue to show commitment and to examine the different pathways to get there, that eventually will.
And President of the Caribbean Development Bank, Dr. Warren Smith, shares the view of the CARICOM Secretary General that analyzing and understanding the costs would be important.
It's one of the options, but I think it needs very, very careful study. But what I like to say is that it is not a substitute for air transport. It's a complement to air transport, so that it has its own niche, especially for the movement of cargo between the islands. But it also has a role in relation to the transport of tourists and, different types of groups moving around the Caribbean. So I'm not going to write it off, but one of the things we need to be very, very careful about is that we don't take on new obligations that we can't stand up to, because that would be a disaster.
Coming up in Caribbean Newsline, police in Jamaica hold a suspect in the murder of an opposition MP. The details when we return.
Hey, Mr. Bentley, long side Tarzan, come on,
Barbados, renowned for its pristine beachfront and fantastic weather, continues to leave quite an impression on newcomers to the island and returning visitors. The Caribbean island, quite popular as a vacation hotspot, is not only beautiful due to its natural aesthetics. The island of Barbados continues to grow in popularity because of unique connections developed with our people, our culture. We can't wait to welcome you.
Welcome to the WWG 2019 War with Germs.
The Oxitec antimicrobial glove is wasting no time, folks.
Quite right, Tammy. I see no way for the germs duo to come back from this.
Oh, what a slam. What a slam. Oxitec is the winner in less than a minute. WWG champion of the world. Find our champion at www.psci.biz or give us a call at 417-0777.
Welcome back. Police in Jamaica are investigating 8 murders over a 12-hour period after gunmen went on a rampage in the western parish of Westmoreland. 1 other person was shot and injured during the period between late Monday and early Tuesday. Acting Commissioner for the Westmoreland Police Division, Deputy Superintendent Carlos Russell, said lawmen believe they have a good idea of what is causing the problem and will be putting strategies in place to stem the flow of violence.
We are in control of the matter at this time. Based on information and intelligence that we have received, we have a good understanding of what is happening. We are putting more boots on the ground. We are concerned as it relates to the areas of Saglamar. We are also in partnership with the JDF, and we have members of the JDF working along with the police in the hotspot areas, doing operations and BCP in the
Westmoreland, which recorded 141 murders last year, has seen 21 killings since the start of 2019. Staying in Jamaica, a young man who was detained earlier this month in relation to the fatal stabbing of opposition parliamentarian Dr. Linvale Bloomfield is back in police custody. The 21-year-old, who was previously considered a person of interest in the probe, is now described as a suspect in the slaying of the politician. He was picked up on Monday after scientific evidence allegedly linked him to the crime scene. The suspect is expected to be questioned in coming days. Investigators had reported that the man had revealed he had a close relationship with the slain Portland Eastern MP. The 59-year-old Dr. Bloomfield was found murdered at his home in Portland on February 2nd. His body had multiple stab wounds. Police had recovered 2 knives and a bloodied vest, which were sent for forensic testing. In this week's Newsline business, Jamaica says it has enough foreign reserves. Guyana looks to South Africa for help in developing its mining industry, and Antiguans may have to pay a higher sales tax to fund the new UWI campus.
Newsline Business is brought to you by Solar Dynamics.
The Central Bank of Jamaica says it has reached an ideal level of its net international reserves, and therefore there is no need for an increase. The co-chair of the Economic Program Oversight Committee, Keith Duncan, says future increases will depend on demand.
There's no real need to increase NIR levels. No, if we should have exports and our U.S. earning exports and services earning us significantly more as the economy, as we hope that the economy will start to grow and these reserves increase, then that is wonderful. But until we get the real movement on exports and increased growth levels, if you have increased growth levels, then you could see the NIR going up.
Guyana is turning to South Africa for expertise in developing its mining industry. Minister of Natural Resources, Raphael Trotman, has been meeting with representatives of that country to discuss areas of cooperation, and he says conditions are ideal for growing that sector.
South Africa is a very large, complex and exciting place, but it brings experiences of how they've overcome some of the challenges that we're facing at a government level and at the institutional level, where the counterpart in the GGMC would be able to relate to its counterpart in the South Africa region, or at least Southern Africa. And thirdly, we would want to invite investment from South Africa to Guyana. We believe that financially, South Africa has a wherewithal, and it has experience in mining, gold, and diamonds in particular.
Antigua and Barbuda's Prime Minister Gaston Brown is considering a 1% increase in the sales tax to fund the 4th campus of the University of the West Indies. He made the announcement on his radio station, Point FM. Brown said the proposed increase would be a sacrifice that all Antiguans would have to make to ensure that they have a university that can improve the country's human resource so they can be more competitive. The UWI Antigua campus is expected to be officially opened by September this year. Mary-Claire Williams, Newsline Business.
Newsline Business was brought to you by Solar Dynamics.
When we were building in 1984, we decided to get the solar water heater.
We use it up to this morning.
From my home, I get rain 2 days and I still get hot water.
I've had it for 30 years. And I have no problems with it up to this day.
All I can say is that anyone who wishes to have a system, try Solar Dynamics.
Solar Dynamics water heater systems are now right through the Caribbean.
Ahead in Newsline Sport, England take the lead in the ODI series against the West Indies with a victory in Grenada. Stay with us.
Welcome to the WWG 2019 War with Germs.
The Oxitec antimicrobial glove is wasting no time, folks.
Quite right, Tammy. I see no way for the germs duo to come back from this.
Oh, what a slam. What a slam. Oxitec is the winner in less than a minute. WWG champion of the world. Find our champion at www.psci.biz or give us a call at 417-0777.
Dance, jump up to this, non-stop turn and twist.
What up, it's your boy Fresh Montana.
It's me, Smokey Robinson.
It's your boy David Doe.
Hi, I'm Elmay.
This is Bucci Banton, and I'll be performing live for the Shiloh Band in St. Kitts Music Festival.
Don't miss the 23rd Annual St. Kitts Music Festival, June 26th to June 30th, 2019. Featuring Bucci Banton, Smokey Robinson, Popcorn, and Elmay. Also, Davido, French Montana, Fimba, Edwin Yearwood, and Crossfire. Coco T, Skinny Fabulous, Charles Marshall, Charlie Black, Farmer Nappy, Nadia Batson, Infamous, New Vibes Band, and many, many more. It will be epic. It will be mind-blowing. It will be jaw-dropping. It will be awesome. The Think It's Music Festival, an experience like no other. For more information and to buy tickets, log on to www.thinkitsmusicfestival.com.
Continuing with sports now, Chris Gayle's 25th century went in vain as the West Indies lost the fourth ODI by 29 runs in the 5-match series against England. Sent in, England, who capitalized on a good pitch and loose windies bowling at the Grenada National Stadium, rocketed to 418 for 6 of their 50 overs, with Jos Buttler top scoring with 150 and Morgan chipping in with 103. Opener Alex Hales, in his first match of the series, stroked 82 at the top of the order, while opening partner Johnny Bairstow slammed 56.
Many, many highlights of this innings. It's good to get Alex Hales from England's point of view coming in at the expense today of Jason Roy, who opened the batting previously. And it was Bairstow who took to Bishop in the power play. 1 over for 19 for the Windies leg spinner, and Bairstow brought up his first half century going back to June 2018. They then climbed into Ashley Nurse until O'Shane Thomas came together with Carlos Brathwaite and they stymied the run flow. Hales, though, brought up his half century and looked on course for something bigger. Bairstow went and Hales continued on his merry way until a good catch by Shimron Hetmeyer ended his stay at the crease. And this was the partnership that sucked all the life out of the bowling effort for the Windies. 204 between Morgan and Jos Buttler. Of Buttler. Then he brought up his 7th ODI 100. Continued his assault. The Windies had struck 23 sixes in the first ODI in Barbados and opened today by England. One of the best knocks you'll see from England's captain, striking the ball crisply from the go. Until he mistimed a slow delivery from Sheldon Cottrell. And his opposite number, Jason Holder, held the catch. Buttler continued to dominate. And then Stokes tried his best to live up to what had gone previously, which was always going to be difficult to do. The record-breaking 6 and 150 to Jos Buttler. Then Brathwaite had revenge of sorts. And at the last ball of the innings, a catch to Hetmeyer.
In reply, Gale slugged 14 sixes and 11 fours to hit 162 from 97 balls as the hosts chased after the record-breaking total. Bravo also scored an entertaining 61, while Carlos Brathwaite chipped in with a half-century. But England leg spinner Adil Rashad's best figures of 5 for 85 did the trick for England as the Windies' lower order crumbled to 389 in the 48th over.
This is the problem. You want responsibility from your batsmen. When you leave out or you change the balance to go with the extra bowler as they did after the first ODI, you need players like Hetmar to read the situation, and I'm sure he will learn that when he goes on. If he would have batted for 10, 15 overs with Chris Gale, they chase that down.
Yeah, Chris Gale continued on his merry way, got his 100, got 150, and never looked really out of breath. But then another crucial passage of play after he tore into Adil Rashid, Ben Stokes got him.
Yes, and Ben Stokes, as we've seen throughout this series, and throughout Ben Stokes' career really, he's a game changer. He either does it with the bat, or he'll come on to bowl and he'll pick up a wicket.
What about this leg spin now at this stage?
Extraordinary, really. Unbelievable captaincy, but even better nerve from Adil Rashid to bowl that last over the way that he did, to give it that little bit of flight. Brathwaite had hit him for a few sixes as well. So the way that Rashid came back at the last 10 overs after getting some real tap early on was extraordinary. This is where Brathwaite did him. Owen Morgan could very easily, after this, have said, you know what, Adil, you're done now. I've got plenty of options for my seamers, but he didn't. He went back to Rashid, and we'll see in a minute exactly what Rashid did.
Just to put it in the context, Jeffrey, his first 4 overs, Adil Rashid went for 50 runs and wicketless. He ended up picking up 5 to 35 as Brathwaite brought up his first ODI half-century.
Yes, it just goes to show that the lower half really don't play leg spin that well. And I think Owen Morgan was aware of that. You could see that neither Brathwaite or Nurse were really picking him. And that's what he'll do in a one-day game. When the slug is on, he'll pick up wickets because he's not afraid to flight the ball.
Just the flight that you mentioned is critical, but it's each way as well, and it really shows the value of guys like him, Yuzvinder Chahal, Kuldeep Yadav, guys who turn the ball both.
And that's the sport. We'll be right back.
Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
When we were building in 1984, we decided to get the solar water heater.
We use it up to this morning.
From my home, we get rain 2 days and we still get hot water.
I've had it for 30 years and I have no problems with it up to this day.
All I can say is that anyone who wishes to have a system, try Solar Dynamic.
Solar Dynamics water heater systems are now right through the Caribbean.
Become part of a family of over 2.5 million people in 16 Caribbean countries. When you join a credit union, you're not just a member, you are part owner. Join a credit union today. This message is brought to you by the Caribbean Confederation of Credit Unions.
Hey, Mr. Bentley, long side Tarzan, whoa, whoa, whoa,
Coming up, the anticipation for Carifesta 2019 is already on the rise. Meanwhile, there's local culture on display as Carnival heats up in Trinidad and Tobago. And get fit for life during your next vacation in Barbados. It's all next on Caribbean Passport on this station.
Again, the major developments of this day: Guyana's president to consult with the country's elections body and opposition leader on the holding of polls. And in sport, England take a 2-1 lead in the ODI series against the West Indies with a 29-run victory in the 4th ODI. And that's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sport around the clock, subscribe to CanadaNews.com. For more of our programming, log on to caribvision.tv and check out our YouTube channel. We'll be back here again tomorrow. But from all of us at CMC News, thank you for watching and have yourselves a good night.